to LUTV News InFocus, where we feature interesting topics on campus, in the community, and in the world of culture. I am Tommy Byers. Lamar University graduate and Congressman of the 36th District of Texas, Babin, recently visited the southern border of Texas in response to the immigration crisis. I had the opportunity to speak with Congressman Babin on his visit and the effect it has on Southeast Texas. Congressman Babin, you recently talked about your visit to the southern border. Upon your arrival, what did you witness?
Well, we expected to see a lot of chaos down there because as the House Border Security Caucus co-chairman for actually the last term, and actually over 2 terms, we had been hearing a lot of reversals by the Biden administration on some of the Trump protocols, like Remain in Mexico, Title 42, the National Emergency Declaration, wall building, and all of this. And we knew through all the campaign rhetoric that Biden would probably reverse a lot of that. And he was warned, absolutely warned, by numbers of people in the Trump administration that if he did this, he was going to have a crisis on his hands. Totally ignored this. And so by the time we got down there, it was already a basket case, and it's getting worse and worse. We went to the Rio Grande Valley. We went to McAllen. We went out to Padre Island. We talked to the Coast Guard. We talked to the National Guard. We flew around with them. We talked to the Drug Enforcement Administration. Many people with the Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection. And we saw things that really were very, very concerning to me on a humanitarian level, on a national security level, on any level you want to talk about. We went to one facility that was being run by the CBP, and these unaccompanied minors that are coming across. This facility was supposed to have had no more than 250 kids in it, and there were 5,700 people, kids that were in there stacked like hardwood. They look like sardines. And while our country is locked down and told to continue to socially distance and wear masks and be careful, here's our own federal government, spreading COVID. There was up to a 10% infection rate of COVID that we know amongst these kids. They were releasing literally hundreds of individuals. They resumed catch and release that the Trump administration had finally gotten rid of, and now they were back to catch and release. COVID positive individuals, illegals, undocumented, being released into Texas and fanning out across the country. And it was a humanitarian disaster, and it's gotten worse, Tommy. It has gotten much worse since I was there probably 7 or 10 days ago.
Yes, sir. And how does that really impact Southeast Texas, like the citizens, and how can we bring that home here?
Well, they're taking the HHS, Health and Human Services, are opening up facilities all across the country. Now, I don't know of any in the Golden Triangle area, but I can tell you that these people are making their way. They're free to go anywhere they want to. They drop many of them off at bus stations, and they fan out across the country, COVID positive and all. They're supposed to be going to places where supposedly they've got families. But the vetting procedure was far from being what I thought was a carefully thought out procedure and policy. So they could come, and they are coming. They're coming to Orange. They're coming to Beaumont, Port Arthur. They're going on in all sections, all areas, every state in the union has got these people coming in. We had 77,000 illegals come through in January. We had I think it was 100,400 and something coming in February. March, believe it or not, nearly 173,000 undocumented crashed through our borders. And then we also had the 19,000 unaccompanied minors that came through in March as well. Many of those are still in custody in the CBP facilities, and the rest of them, they're not supposed to be there more than 72 hours. Many of them have stayed there for several weeks. And then they're going to these HHS facilities and being farmed out all across the country. They're asking our military to open up their bases to house unaccompanied minors. They're even asking. I'm the ranking member of the House Subcommittee on Space and Aeronautics. They're even asking NASA to send people down to the border to take care of these unaccompanied minors.
What are some ways that we can generate or make sure that families that are coming get here safely and effectively and unharmed? I know that a lot are coming with coyotes and such as that, but how can we ensure that the families that are actually trying to get here safely get here safely?
With the conditions today, you can't make that. You can't have that insurance. You can't have that assurance at all. Everybody that crosses that border is either working for the cartels or paying the cartels. They're either they're either mules to bring in drugs, and quite frankly, let me just be real truthful with you. The drug situation is far worse today because of Biden's policies. He is empowered, without question, he has empowered the drug cartels, the human smugglers, the coyotes. Fully 1/3 of all young female migrants coming up across Mexico and trying to get across our border are sexually assaulted. Fully 1/3. It is incredible. I've seen things down there called rape trees where terrible atrocities have occurred. And these are just kind of signposts that the cartels put out to those who don't pay them. They're bringing these unaccompanied minors in here, and a lot of these folks, very few of them are little bitty kids, although there was some of them as well. Most of them are 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, and quite frankly, they don't have documents. They could be 25 for all we know and say that they're 16 or 17. And they're coming up here working, and they're sending money back to the cartels.
I know here, once we go to Louisiana or from Houston, we see Border Patrol. So what are some ways that we can better educate Southeast Texans on these type of issues so that they have the proper knowledge to go further?
Well, you're doing it. You're doing it right now, because most of the mainstream media is not reporting on this over and over again since January the 20th, when Biden was sworn in and immediately started writing executive orders opening our borders back up. We weren't hearing the real story on the border. It was very few of the outlets, of the news outlets, were reporting the truth. We could not get, and in fact, to this very day, the Biden administration has never admitted that there's a crisis on the border. They've never admitted it. And I can tell you there's dead people, there are raped individuals. We've seen horrifying videos of two little kids, a 3 and a 4-year-old child, drop from the top of a 14-foot wall, and then the coyotes throw their shoes and then run off and leave these two kids in the middle of the desert out west of El Paso. We saw one just today where a little kid, it looked like he might have been 6 or 8 years old, dropped in the desert of Mexico, wandering around out there, wondering what happened. The guardians, the parents of these people should be arrested this is child abuse, and they're expecting the United States of America, the taxpayers of America, to bring these kids in when we have children that have been out of school for a solid year. We've got millions of Americans that are locked down out of their jobs, and these people are sending their kids in. My heart goes out to these children, but this responsibility. What about American kids? What are we going to do about
Congressman, I don't mean to cut you off, but we're out of time. I don't mean to cut you off, and I want to thank you for your time. Maybe we can follow this up later, but I do appreciate you for the information that you gave us. And I would like to sincerely thank Congressman Babin for granting us for this interview. Thank you for watching LUTV News in Focus. To see more content from LUTV News, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.